Hi MRH friends, and welcome to the artist exploration of Claes Oldenburg. Claes Oldenburg is best known for his public art installations that include overscaled everyday objects. He creates everyday objects such as typewriters, hamburgers, and here a 50-foot tall paintbrush outside a Pennsylvania art school. He enlarges these familiar objects far beyond their actual size, describing them as monuments to everyday things. Claes was born in Sweden but grew up in America and is embraced as an American sculptor. He's 91 years old and living in Sweden and still working. He often worked with his wife, who has now passed away, a sculptor named Kuzi van Bergen. This sculpture is 23 feet tall and weighs 2,300 pounds. The word plantoir is French for hand tool. This sculpture is designed to withstand wind gusts of over 100 miles an hour. Here is Claes working on a scale model for a sculpture design in the 1960s. You can imagine a lot of planning goes into these huge sculptural undertakings. Claes has to consider a lot of factors for art to survive on a very large scale and outside. Making art for public spaces is not like making art for a museum. Think about the weather, the wind, the people touching it, and safety. He has to be very careful to plan his pieces. Sometimes this process takes years. Unlike many artists, Claes did not go to college to become one. He went to college to become a writer. He studied English and did a lot of reading. After college, he took a job as a reporter in Chicago. He did his studies at Yale University. This piece of work was an idea that Oldenburg had in his head for over 20 years. When he saw the space at this Minneapolis sculpture garden, he knew that this is where that idea finally belonged. He often worked with his wife, and her idea in this sculpture was to add the cherry on top of the spoon. Check out this sketch and scale model of that sculpture. This Cupid's arrow stands more than 60 feet in the air and took 3 years to realize. Originally, Claes wanted the arrow to point at the sky, but decided close to the end of production that he wanted it to point into the ground. Look at this ice cream cone that looks like it's about to melt off the side of a building. He is considered a pop artist because he uses common objects that we are using in our current culture. This is another collaboration with his wife. Claes is documented to have said that he wants his art to have no function other than it just being totally art. Claes often repeats his subjects over and over in different cities around the world. Clothespins are a subject that he has repeated several times in several cities. Plugs are another subject that Claes reuses in his work. This plug happens to be at our very own St. Louis Art Museum on the front lawn. This piece is just up the highway at the Nelson Atkins Museum of Art in Kansas City. There are 3 shuttlecocks on the property in front of the museum. This piece is also up the highway in Chicago, Illinois. In 1961, Claes wrote, "I am for an art that does something other than sit in a museum." He liked his art to be open to everyone in public. This bat was originally supposed to be red, but his wife changed his mind when they noticed many other red sculptures outside in the city of Chicago. They said the city felt very gray and thought the bat should match. Claes was influenced by the immersive environments of the happenings in New York City in the 1950s and 60s. This is where his love for environmental sculpture took off. He wanted to involve the viewer in his work. This building in Los Angeles involves the public, for sure. It's above the doors that enter into a public space. You have to walk through the binoculars to enter. Claes became fascinated with the idea of public monuments as a child. When he began to design colossal sculptures for famous public gathering spaces, he never thought that that dream would actually be executed. In addition to being known for large public works, Claes is also known for something he refers to as soft sculptures. Using fabric materials such as nylon and vinyl, Oldenburg gave his works their characteristically soft appearance. Oldenburg's soft sculptures began to develop in 1962. By translating the medium of sculpture from hard to soft, Oldenburg collapsed solid surfaces into deflated objects that were subject to gravity and chance. This piece of soft sculpture is also kinetic. It twists and turns and inflates to give the appearance of a bag being filled with real ice. This piece is also at our St. Louis Art Museum. The ordinary must not be dull, Oldenburg says, as he disrupts the function of everyday objects. You can't have a burger without fries. Check out these vinyl fries and ketchup on a plate. This is a very recognizable object. This is a soft toilet from 1966, along with one of Oldenburg's original sketches. Check out the movement that he was guessing that he would get if he chose vinyl as the material. Do you think it would be possible to play this soft viola? Check out this life-size hand-sewn vinyl soft beetle. Do you think you could drive around town in that car? How do you think you can show Oldenburg's influence in your own artwork? I'd love to see you try.